Good afternoon. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matole. This is Citizen News in Brief. Kenya is working towards scaling up its vaccination uptake with a target of administering 150,000 doses daily before the end of September. The distribution of 880,460 doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine received in the country early today is expected to begin this afternoon and on Tuesday in selected high-volume facilities. The vaccines, which form the first of two shipments totaling 1.76 million doses, were donated by the United States government via the COVAX facility and transported by UNICEF. This is the first time that Moderna vaccines have been received in Kenya and widens the portfolio of COVID-19 vaccines available for the national vaccine rollout. To increase the uptake, the Ministry of Health will gradually increase the number of vaccination centers from the current 800 to 3,000 and is further mapping out areas with high population in order to conduct outreach services.
The Moderna vaccine, we are not holding any vaccines. They come and we distribute to the rest of the country.
These are the first Moderna vaccines to arrive in Kenya, and they are the same safe and effective Moderna vaccines which are being used to vaccinate Americans in the United States.
A facility will have one type of vaccine, except high-volume facilities like Kenyatta, Mbagathi and others, which can separately be able to administer more than one type.
Meanwhile, hundreds of public servants in Trans Nzoia flocked to the Kitale Referral Hospital to get vaccinated to beat the deadline by the government. Out of the over 1,000 people who queued for the vaccine, only 160 received it. Trans Nzoia CEC for Healthcare, Wanyama, said they'd received 2,000 doses, which are not enough to meet the demand from residents. There is fear that some public officers may fail to get vaccinated due to vaccine scarcity.
Ukiangalia hivi, wale watu ambao wamejazana hapa, kwa kusema kweli hawataweza kupata chanjo kwa wakati unaofaa, na tungeomba ikiwezekana zoezi hili liwe linaweza kwenda paka mashinani. Katika zile facility ambazo tuko nazo, chanjo ziwe za kutosha na ziende katika mashinani kusudi kila mmoja aweze kupata.
Tuko hapa kwa ajili ya COVID-19 injections na tunafurahi public health Red Cross team the way they are. Isipokuwa tu tuko na some challenges kidogo kwa sababu all of Malindi, Magarini, Kilifi County wanakuja wanapiga sehemu moja. So kitu ambacho tunaomba, sindano ziwe kwa wingi na tujaribu government iweke sehemu nyingi za kupiga injection kwa sababu tupunguze usongamano.
All right, now the Council of Governors has joined in the clamour for parliamentary initiative in order to enact sections of the BBI proposals that do not require a referendum. Even as they respect the judgment of the Court of Appeal, the governors say they will push for the enactment of the proposals to have equitable share to the devolved units, increased from the current 16.9% to above 35%.
The Council is of the position that the judgment made on Friday by the Court of Appeal did not consider the substantive issues contained in the Constitutional Amendment Bill. The Court's decision largely focused on procedural aspects of the constitutional amendment process through popular initiative. Therefore, the Council of Governors will work with other stakeholders, including the Legal Affairs Committees on both the National Assembly and the Senate, to ensure that these amendments are passed through Parliament before the next general election. This is the moment to test the political will, the seriousness and genuineness of those, especially in the political class, who are supporting BBI. We expect them to come out strongly to support the bill which the COG is going to sponsor for amendment of the Constitution through a parliamentary initiative and Article 256 of the Constitution.
We have yet another tragic story for you this afternoon. Police are investigating an incident in which Njoro-based police constable stormed the Njoro sub-county hospital and shot his girlfriend before turning the gun on himself at the Njoro police station on Sunday night. Preliminary reports indicate the 28-year-old police constable was reportedly involved in an altercation with his girlfriend, leaving her with an injury on the leg. She was then rushed to the Njoro sub-county hospital for treatment, but the said officer followed her to the hospital armed with an AK-47 rifle and shot her multiple times at the injection room. Njoro OCPD Jonathan Kisaka says the officer reported for duty at midnight told colleagues that he was making a phone call outside only for him to show up at the hospital armed. The bodies of the two have been transferred to the Egerton University morgue.
Hii mtu alikuwa amepikana sana na huyu rafiki wake for a long time. So hatujui sababu gani public wako wanaona hii watu wakipikana hapo sokoni. Wamepikana kwa hii center for a long time. Ndio mtu afike kiwango apikwe mpaka avunje mguu, hajavunjwa na dakika 5. It has been a struggle sababu wamepikana wakavunjana, akamvunja miguu na hata akamrarulia manguo.
Mgonjwa alikuja 11 hapo. 11 something. So lakini askari mwenyewe alikuja saa 6, lakini hakufanya nini, alikuja tu akaingia kama malisa story yake yenye alikuwa hakuwa na uvumbi na wote juu. Kama angekuwa na mtu kukasirika angetuanza na sisi. Kwanza mimi ndio nilikuwa kwa mlango nikaambia kwa nini hujavaa mask hivi kitu kaa hiyo.
He came in front of the report office, akakaa pale kwa shade nje almost 50 meters in front of the report office, whereby you could not have a chance kuingia na utoke. So the station was temporarily taken hostage.
Okay, we have a few updates for you now from the education sector. Thousands of Form 1 learners have not taken their admission slots 1 week after the reporting deadline lapsed, prompting the Ministry of Education to intensify efforts to get them to school. Education CS Professor George Magoha has indicated that Coast Region has admitted only about 60% of the 2020 KCPE candidates, dealing a blow to the government's 100% transition policy. Speaking in Mombasa after touring Bangladesh and Kibarani slums, where a number of learners are said to have failed to join Form 1, Magoha instructed all government officials to mop up learners who are yet to report to school.
To appeal to all Kenyans who are able, and there are many of them who are able, that I think it is only education that is a constant changer, and that I'm instructing our officers who are in the field, together with the Ministry of Interior, who is represented here by County Commissioner Mr. Siele on my left, together with his chiefs and sub-chiefs and our quality assurance officers and education officers, to go to the field and mop every child. Every child must be taken to school.
Learning activities have been paralysed at Maseno University in Kisumu as lecturers at the institution went on a go-slow to demand salary arrears. Speaking at the university grounds, UASU Branch Secretary Stephen Okeo faulted the institution's management for failing to implement the 2017-2021 CBA, which pushed for, among other things, promotion of lecturers as well as better pay. Okeo further faulted the university's management for failing to provide a clear framework for payment of arrears owed to them. He says learning will remain paralysed until their grievances are addressed. The institution, however, revealed that it will hold talks with the dons to resolve the impasse.
The bare minimum is the circle is over. We want enhanced salary, new skills. We now want arrears for 13 months.
Yes, 13 months.
Universities started running the money in July 2020. Yes. We are still waiting for us. We are tired because this is one institution which doesn't respect the law. Yes. Workers are sacked left and right with disregard of the law. We want the Vice Chancellor to come and address us.
Yes. Today.
These issues we've raised must be addressed Concerning our money, we are not talking about that one.
We have had engagements in the last 2 weeks, and this is what has culminated into where we are now, that we are giving staff new rates as from July 2021 going forward. So that information is already out. The Secretary Generals have it, and I think we'll move on from there. So we are going to meet union officials just to agree on the modalities of payment and so on.
Boda operators torched a school bus belonging to Lions Primary School in Embu after an accident that claimed the life of a Boda operator. They say the operators who took the injured colleague to hospital came back and started smashing windows of the bus and then set it ablaze after he was pronounced dead on arrival. The operator's chairman condemned the action, saying those who torched the bus should face the law.
Kijana wa pikipiki alikuwa ametoka kudrop watoto shule hapa St. Michael akiwa anarudi. So ikakuwa hiyo gari ilikuwa mwendo wa 6:45. So hii gari ya Lions ilikuwa spindi sana. So wakikuja kupitana hapa ndipo akamgonga na hiyo kijana akapass. After that kuna kikundi imetokea ikakuja ikachoma gari sababu walikuwa na uchungu sana. Sababu wamekuja wakaenda kuangalia huyo jamaa hapo akapata amededi. Sasa venye wamepata amekufa ndio wamekuja ayo wakachoma gari.
Sisi tuna condemn ya act ya leo na tutaambia watu wa pikipiki mahali popote walipo Kenya mzima, accident ikifanyika tusichukue sheria mikononi, kwa sababu wale watu tunaumiza ni hizo familia za hiyo mwenye amefanyikiwa na ajali ambayo ni dereva wa pikipiki. Kwa hivyo nitasema tukue tu watu wa kutulia na tukue tu watu wa kufuata sheria. Pikipiki iko na insurance, gari iko na insurance, dereva iko na driving license. Kwa hivyo tuache kukimbilia maneno ya kuchoma gari ama kuchapa wenye walikuwa kwa magari.
Ni boda ilikuwa mbio juu mwenye boda alikuwa anatoka na St. Michael na amekuja mbio, na basi pia ilikuwa mbio ikachukua emergency, ikakanyanga emergency, and then mtu wa boda akakuja amegongwa, ikufia hapa juu polisi wamekuja wakampeleka mochari na wamekuta basi kichomwa. Ningependa kurequest hii barabara inapitwa na watoto, na pia hii shule iko na watoto wako na disability, so tunaomba hii barabara watuwekee bumps ili to reduce the cost of accidents.
All right, we want to take you to Nigeria now. 15 students have been reunited with their parents 7 weeks after they were kidnapped from their school in northwestern Nigeria. One parent said some of the children were recovering in hospital following their ordeal. A total of 121 students were seized from Bethel Baptist High School in Kaduna State. The police say efforts are ongoing to secure the release of the 65 who remain in captivity. Community leader said a ransom was handed over, but the kidnappers then released far fewer students than they'd promised. Over 1,000 students have been taken since December.
Smaller than what we were expecting because we had 78 out there. They've given us 15, that means 63 to come. But in everything, God says we should give thanks, and we are giving thanks for what He has done. And we are trusting that the same God who has brought these 15 out is going to help us to receive the other 63.